So, if you feel you will have tough times around the holidays, then I would like for us to understand what's going on. And I was doing this with a client of mine, and she was telling me that she would like to work on it because she observes herself every year around the holidays when she goes back home with the family. She feels like she's not where she wants to be, or she hasn't achieved all the things that she wanted. She's not where she wants in terms of her life circumstances and goals, and then feels bad about it. And then other people asking her questions and asking her what's going on, it becomes so challenging to answer to those questions. And then she feels like she wants to isolate and do not do all the things that she wants, and then not enjoy the holidays, and it all snowballs, right? So if that is your situation and you are dreading going home, or dreading seeing the holidays, or dreading celebrating the holidays, or being with your loved ones, maybe because you've lost your job, or because you feel like you haven't been able to find anything, facing those loved ones, then this might be the topic that we need to discuss. So, the first option, if this is happening, is to feel bad so much so that we destroy the whole holiday season, right? We just say, okay, this is all shitty and everything is bad. And then we feel bad about ourselves. We feel angry and frustrated about others, the system, and all of this. And then we remind ourselves how we are not there where we're supposed to be, family wise, children wise, property wise, work wise. And then it just feels everything all compiling and dominating our mood as we go through the holidays. And I would like to emphasize how that is optional. And here is how you will know this is optional, is because you are the one judging yourself harshly in that moment. And whether we judge ourselves, our situation in that moment, in that way, is up to us. And it might be time for us to recognize that. So, option A is, as I said, blow everything by feeling so bad and letting all of those emotions cover us to a point that we can handle them, and then needing a lot of time to recover from it. Or option B, which I recommend to explore intentionally, consciously, and mindfully, is where you look at, okay, maybe this is a good time for me to reflect how I got myself to this place. That's one way to do that, reflection, so that you understand your patterns of what decisions you didn't make that could have led to this situation, or that could have led you to another situation, what actions you didn't take, what actions you took instead. All of those patterns you could look at. That's one way. But if that is not really where you feel like you can be, another way that I have really recommended to my client is to say, okay, let us figure out where you are supposed to be according to your current brain's idea, right? Where you are supposed to be now. And let's say that you, by the next year, 2026 December, when you are there again, what are the things you would like to have happened so you no longer feel, excuse me, I'm not there where I'm supposed to be, right? So let's figure out what are the outcomes or results you would like to experience by December 2026. And then let's figure out what are the decisions that get you there, what are the actions that get you there, and by when you need to be making them and taking them, right? So in my client's case, she was saying that by December 2026, she would like to have resigned from her current job and started her own business and make a certain amount of money from it. And she would like to have bought a property near her parents' place. And she will have started a relationship and a child or getting pregnant by December 26. These are the things that she would have liked to have happened so that she feels things are the way they desire, right? I see that my internet maybe is slow. Okay. So now what she would like to experience in 26. Now we figured out, okay, what are the decisions that need to be made by when? And then she said, okay, the decision to resign would be by mid next year. And before making that, or before resigning and handing over the notification, she would like to have certain outcomes in her business already. And in order to get those outcomes in her business, what are the decisions that to be made and what are the actions that we need to take? And I always recommend also looking at what are the actions you don't want to be making. And I will give you examples from my own life in a minute. When we look at, okay, these are the experiences we would like to have in our lives in 2026. And these are the decisions we need to be making. These are the actions we need to be taking. Then it becomes clear as to which direction to go and what to do and when to date and what are the patterns or what are the emotional parts that we need to release from the previous relationship so we can create space for new relationship, and what are the decisions that need to be made for having a child and raising in a one place. All of those decisions that you can start making, that gives you then clarity as to, okay, which direction you go and what are the actions you take and what are the decisions you make. That becomes so much more powerful way of approaching how you want to experience 2026 instead of how you're not where you want it to be. Because if you keep going in the identity of I'm someone who keeps being in the place where I don't want to be, I'm behind my goals or I'm behind my life circumstances that I want to experience, whatever it is that we keep talking about, then it becomes really a part of identity, right? It becomes something like this is how we see ourselves. And because this is how we see ourselves, then we keep sabotaging ourselves even if we want to go and do all of those things because we keep wanting to confirm that this is who we are. So if you have those thoughts about I'm behind, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, I have all this potential but I'm not living it, then look how you're going with it, right? So in other words, why you keep reinforcing that identity or why you keep focusing on that identity. What is the outcome you're trying to get out of it? And the only outcome that can get out of it is really feeling bad about yourself. And then the question is, why would you do that to yourself? Right? Because somehow our brain believes if we feel bad about ourselves, and if we keep talking about how this is not this and this is not that and how this is not how it's supposed to be and it is how it did and I don't like it, da, 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 da. If we keep staying in this, then we're really generating more of self-pity, more of self-abuse, more of suffering, that then makes not only holidays not enjoyable but also not being able to socialize in the want to, and not being present with the loved ones that we want to. And then we just keep battling ourselves, right? We just keep fighting, like, keep observing fights within ourselves. And that is not useful unless we say, okay, I see that I'm having these fights inside me. I'm the one who can solve it. Here are the possibilities of how I can solve it, so I can be present with my loved ones, so I can look forward to doing things that I want to. And most importantly, as of that moment, embody being the person who resolves this topic once and for all, right? So if we don't see ourselves as human beings who can resolve these topics once and for all, we will stay in those topics, and those topics continue being the storyline of our lives. Do you know, like, the storyline of some people's lives are, oh, I was meant to do great things and I never did it. Or another storyline is, I have always been overwhelmed with everything that's going on, or I'm stressed, or I'm always insecure. All of these are storylines of the life, and therefore keep using those storylines as a reason why we can't go and do this, we can't go and do that. And therefore we just keep, like, not only reinforcing those storylines, we keep agreeing that those storylines are true, right? We keep agreeing that, yeah, that is the reason why, or that is the reason why I'm never where I want to be. But why are we agreeing with those storylines? Why are we reinforcing them? Why are we um, like, why are we using them as a reason why we can't live the life we want to? And I would really love to for you to really see that you, or whatever is going on inside you, right, whatever the inner battles that are going inside you, you are the person who can do something with it. No one else can. And if the story is that I got laid off, and I was thrown out of the organization, and now I need to face my family, and now I need to do this, now I need to do that, and all of these things, again, you can do that, right? That's an option. That's an option, which will then spoil and influence all of your holidays. And then you will even get more angry and frustrated about everything that's going on. Or you can say, okay, whatever the thing that happened, it did. This is factual. I was laid off. I was let go, or my contract was not renewed. Now I get to decide what to do moving forward, instead of letting the system keep wronging me the whole time in my mind, in my emotional state, and keep making the system this monster, this, I don't know, bad thing that did wrongs to me, and therefore feeling a victim of it. Or I decide I don't want those of what happened now keep influencing my holidays and keep influencing my presence with my loved ones. I don't want to do that. And therefore, here are the decisions that I'm making as to moving forward. Right? So, whatever the things that we feel we should have been at and we're not, if we don't implement the thing that would make us feel that we're right where we're supposed to be, we will keep reinforcing that identity. Right? And then it becomes a story of our lives. and then it becomes more challenging to get rid of that story. So the only way to break that story is to say, whatever was supposed to be happening by now, it didn't. This is factual. Here are the reasons why it didn't, because I didn't make this decision, because I didn't take that action, because I wasn't in that conversation, whatever it is. Take that radical responsibility for why you didn't get yourself to the level or to the place where you were supposed to be, you wanted to. And also, when I say radical responsibility, don't blame yourself or don't get into the whole I'm this bad person or I'm not that professional or others other than this. Don't get into that, but more, okay, I am the person and the reason why I'm here where I don't really like to be, and here are the things that I can do within my control to change, even if outside world seems to be suggesting that none of this will happen. So coming back to my client, I was also telling her that all of those decisions to make as to resigning and the decision to start a business, decision to make X amount of money, and then going and making it, all of those decisions are actually not hard. It's more the implementation that's hard, right? But because implementation is hard, oftentimes we may need more time. And therefore, instead of spending our time on how we're not where we're supposed to be and all of those things, like I was saying about the inactions, right? I was reminding myself this morning that the actions that I don't want to do anymore in my own life is being confused and being dramatic and being like sorry for myself and being this is unfair and that's unfair bullshit. I don't want to do anymore. That was like my own decision, right? Those are the actions I no longer want to take, because I have taken those actions so much more, right? The actions of being confused, being dramatic, being like in the unfair and sorry for myself and for sorry for whatever is happening and suffering. All of those things took me a lot of hours and days and energy that I could have spent on actually implementing many other things. And of course, I'm not saying dismiss those emotions or dismiss those grief. Absolutely go and feel them and process them. But there is a difference between processing them and then the indulging in them. And I feel in my case, it was really indulging in them. Right. And the way I know that I'm indulging in them is I keep coming back to the same loop over and over again. So then at some point, I needed to make a decision with myself and say, okay, enough this bullshit anymore. Right? Don't do this to yourself. Like I was actually telling myself this morning, why am I doing this to myself? Right? And of course, my brain is like, well, if we just stay in the self pity, we just stay in the confusion and in the how unfair and all of this story, then it feels easier somehow. Right? It feels easier because I don't need to do the action itself, right? It's a bit like going to the gym, and when you are about to go to the gym, your brain talks a lot about the things of why it's hard to go to the gym, how you need to take this bus or other transportation, how this da 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 da, versus okay, instead of keep spending all of my energy and time thinking about it, if I had worked out, I would have done good to my health, right? And that's really what I'm the logic that I'm taking, or the strategy that I'm taking is this. Instead of me being confused and dramatic and self-pitying and suffering and struggling, instead of keep reinforcing that struggle story, I'm using that time and energy to be actually things. And the same goes for feeling behind or feeling not there where you wanted to be, or if you thought you were supposed to be at this time, at this place by this age, excuse me, and now you're not. The more you keep staying in that energy, the more you keep suffering, and the more you keep suffering, the more you don't want to do anything about it. right? So therefore, what can we do instead of keep staying in it and say, okay, what are the things that I thought I would have by now at this age? Why didn't I have those things before? Or you can work on that, or you can say, okay, these are the things that I would have liked to have in my life by now. I don't, but I make sure that by December 2026, I am having them one way or another, right? That's how I talk to myself. I'm like, no matter what, this is what's happening. And then go and figure out what are the things that you want to be having by 26 December, and what are the actions and decisions you need to make. And if you feel this is hard and how to do this and you need support, absolutely come coach with me. I would love to get you out of that identity of you are behind or you're someone who can't get the things that you want to. I was coaching myself this morning as well that I'm the type of person who achieves what she wants. That's it, full stop. And I would love for you to have that identity as well. If I want this experience in my life, I'm having it. Enough with all the BS as to why it's not possible. So, if that's you, let me know. I would love to support you in this. Have a great holidays, everyone. And I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.